Good afternoon. It is a pleasure for me to be here. Allow me to begin expressing my sincerest thanks to the government of Barbados for being our host and for their leadership in organizing this conference. We have been planning this for many, many months, and they have been nothing but gracious, and we're very happy with their warm hospitality and all the efforts that their team has made to make us feel welcome and for making this conference a success. Also, allow me to also express my gratitude to the ECLAC team, our partners in this conference. We've been partnering for many years, and the teams from senior management all the way to content, and the conference teams have been working seamlessly together to take care of every single detail that you see around the room, every single detail that brings together this conference. So thank you very much. And I'll take just 1 minute to thank my team, the team at UNDP, the team at the Regional Bureau for Latin America, both in New York, in Panama, and of course, the team here at the multi-country office, Limia, and her team, who have been wonderful in supporting us, bringing this massive undertaking to Barbados. So Limia, your team, and everybody who's been here, thank you very much. Over the past 3 days, we have had the privilege of listening and discussing the common challenges faced by the countries in the region in a context of rising pressure that are threatening to set back sustainable progress. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude for your active participation, for sharing your valuable experiences, and your commitment to exchange ideas. The challenges we face are complex, but through collaboration and collective intelligence, we can develop innovative solutions and build a more equitable and sustainable future, leaving no one behind. We leave Bridgetown today with a renewed conviction about the importance of spaces like this for driving sustainable development in the region, especially in times of adversity, especially in times of uncertainty. The experiences, challenges, and solutions you have shared with us once again demonstrate how Latin America and the Caribbean are committed to their people, building resilience into their social policies and adopting innovation as a fundamental pillar to face the future. We see how the region is moving forward with a determination and the spirit of resilience in action, the theme that has brought us together here in Bridgetown to confront the economic, climate, and social challenges that characterize our time. Today, we close the Ministerial Forum with optimism. The Bridgetown Declaration, which we have crafted from your contributions and adopted today, stands as a testament to our collective aspiration and our shared vision for a more equitable and more sustainable future. It reaffirms our commitment to the region and recognizes that achieving sustainable development requires creative and inclusive responses. As I mentioned in my as was mentioned by my director in the opening remarks, one thing is clear: just doing what we're doing is not enough. The Bridgetown Declaration captures several key messages that emerge from our discussions. It invites us to strengthen social protection systems so that they are inclusive, adaptive, and resilient, promoting equality and addressing the needs of the most vulnerable sectors. This commitment includes the use of digital technologies to improve the accessibility and efficiency of programs, ensuring that assistance reaches those who need it most. It emphasizes the need to integrate gender-sensitive approaches into our social protection policies, ensuring that women, especially in their caregiving roles, have access to the resources that allow them to improve their quality of life and reduce gender inequality. It calls for progress in digitalization and technological inclusion as tools to strengthen social policies, enhance service delivery, and foster economic growth. We recognize that closing the digital divide is essential for everyone to benefit from the digital economy, especially marginalized communities. It highlights the importance of developing innovative and sustainable finance mechanisms to address the region's challenges. This includes mobilizing resources that prioritize inclusive and equitable development, as well as creating partnerships between the public and private sectors to encourage investment in essential infrastructure and social services. As UNDP, we leave Bridgetown with satisfaction over the Bridgetown Declaration and ready to continue being a reliable partner in your development efforts. Our commitment to you, to your government, and to your people remains firm, and we are here to support your journey towards adapting to the specific priorities and challenges of each country. Once again, thank you very much for joining us at the 16th Ministerial Forum. Your interventions, reflections, comments, and the spirit you brought to this forum give us a clear picture of the challenges, but also of the opportunities ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Fernandez. We now proceed with Mr. Alberto Arenas, Chief of the Social Development Division of ECLAC.
Good afternoon, authorities, colleagues, and all participants. On behalf of the Executive Secretary of ECLAC, José Manuel Salazar-Xirinachs, I would like to extend warm greetings to Achim Steiner, UNDP Administrator, and Almudena Fernandez, Chief Economist for Latin America and the Caribbean at UNDP. I would also like to really thank the Honorable Kirk, Humphrey, Minister of People Empowerment and Elderly Affairs. Thank you for all the government entities and the entire country that has welcomed us to these fruitful days of discussion. For ECLAC, it was an excellent meeting where we culminated with the approval of the agreements of our sixth meeting of the presiding officers of the Regional Conference on Social Development, which was held yesterday and allows us to have clear message of the region for the Second World Summit on Social Development in 2025. Los invitamos a revisar el documento de posición que presentamos en el día de ayer.
Yesterday, and to share that from the countries with the presidents of Chile, and this is an opportunity, a unique opportunity to share the visions and the concerns of all, and each one of the countries of the region. And I take this opportunity to thank especially to the Minister Javier Toro from Chile for his leadership in this process, which has well-articulated work with the regions and especially with the Ministry BGIS from Brazil as a next president of our international conference. We hope to send this message to the world. As we all know, all the central topics on poverty, hunger and malnutrition, and the inequality is a reality that brings us together, and all of us dedicate our life to it. We hope that all your efforts strengthens these systems, social security system and the university system, integral and sustainable and resilient. And this was, and among the topics that dealt with, I stuck out the importance to have a social institutionality and the financial sustainability in the face of these challenges, reaching a investment standard and social protection, non-contributory, which was proposed yesterday, so to advance decidedly on the improving the progress of the region. We should point out the central theme of this forum: strengthening the social resilience and institutional resilience to reach the objectives which will permit us to face the challenge and the risk and the impacts, especially those in vulnerable and poor regions, with systems of protection, social protection. In this meeting, we had the opportunity to share the works which connect directly with these objectives. I said the presentation of the cost of the double burden of malnutrition and the digital social protection, which give us an idea of the risks of technological change. I finished my words by saying, first, to everyone who participated and with enthusiasm and dedicated your daily life trying to reach these objectives without ceasing. I invite you to continue looking for spaces so that this can be achieved without leaving anybody behind. Second place, to all the working teams who had made possible this work with our commitment, with the commitment from our host country, Barbados, and our colleagues from ECLAC. For all of you, my greatest invitation for us to meet in Brazil in the 6th meeting of the Regional Conference of Social Development of Latin America and the Caribbean, and in the 17th Forum of Latin America and the Caribbean. Thank you very much. Want to continue?
Thank you, Mr. Arenas. I now I'm honored to introduce Mr. Achim Steiner, UNDP's administrator, to offer his remarks.
Honorable Minister Humphreys, my dear colleagues, Modena and Alberto, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm only joining you this afternoon not to give you extensive remarks, but really more as a gesture of deep appreciation, respect, and also admiration for our host country, for this regional forum, but also to you, Minister Humphrey, for having had the stamina, the commitment, and also the skill of leading us through these 2 days, but also to arrive at a Bridgetown Declaration that I think is powerful in the way that it has homed in on these 3 areas that you have heard about. I will not spend time repeating them, but I actually do believe that in the way that this declaration is able to both provide focus and to provide rationale for greater regional cooperation, but also for the region to engage with the world at large, is a very important signal. I also think it is a good antidote perhaps to those who would think of piracy as you did on the opening day of our location here. Remember the lanterns that would lead us onto the rocks? This is a meeting that takes us away from the rocks because in part we need to retain our ability to cooperate. I end my remarks simply by appealing to you for what the United Nations as an idea as much as a daily effort to withstand many of the pressures of our current geopolitical reality stands for. We may differ, we may disagree, may we never lose the ability to gather around the table and still remember that most of the time we have much more that unites us than divides us. And with that, once again, to our hosts, to our teams, but also to all of you who have stayed and traveled for these 2 days here, thank you so much for making Latin America and the Caribbean's voice be more clearly heard, but also investing in that ability to maintain that regional perspective that I think, whether we are in the Eastern Caribbean, whether we are in the Latin American Caribbean region as a whole, can provide so many, I think, positive directions. And I obviously also warmly welcome the opportunity, and Minister Wellington-Diaz is still here, that the forum will reassemble next year in Brazil. You are a wonderful host to follow, a wonderful host here. Thank you so much, Minister.
So much, Mr. Steiner, UNDP Administrator. I now invite Minister Kirk Humphrey to give his closing remarks. Minister.
Thank you very much, Jewel. And again, thanks to all who are still gathered here, also for your stamina, for staying the course over the last 3 days. Mr. Steiner, I want to thank you personally on behalf of Barbados, on behalf of the Prime Minister, for the conversations we've had with UNDP and specifically for the conversations that we've had with you, and for your forward-thinking vision on a number of these very complex issues. I should also thank Michelle in her absence, and as well the Regional Director, Ms. Michelle Muschett, for all the work that she would have done. And Almudena, I must thank you because I know we've been working so closely together to finalizing this document. José Manuel Salazar is not here, but he is such a friend to the region. I also have to thank him and Alberto also for your comments. You know, it seems just like yesterday we welcomed you to Barbados, and now here we are saying goodbye. I mean, we started this conversation. Some of you came on Tuesday, some came on Wednesday. You know, some of you are staying for the weekend. God bless you, who determined to stay for the weekend. And I want to thank you for allowing us to do what I think has been very important work. You know, the conversation on social protection is an important conversation. And the solutions that we now have in place are important solutions. And we look forward to being able to implement them. One of my officers came to me and she said to me, this is such an important conversation, but that we must make sure that it does not end as just talk. That we must be able to implement and to drive home these things because there are lots of people who depend on us to get this right. And we've seen the world reverse, we've seen the world regress on a number of these most important issues. And those of us who think that we're on the right side of history must continue to push forward to make lives better for the people who live here. I also want to make the point I think that you made yesterday in relation to GDP and recognizing that this is a lot more than GDP. And during the election campaign, I used to always say that the P must be about people. Otherwise, unless that is the case, we're missing the point. We have to make sure that what we do here at the end of the day advances the life of ordinary people. So I really wanted to take this opportunity to thank all of you for coming, those of you who travel far to be in Barbados, those of you who came from close by to be in Barbados, those who've been here for the first time. I trust that our hospitality has been sufficient. If there's anywhere where we fell short, I apologize. I want to thank my staff, who I know have worked very, very hard over the last few days to pull this together. I want to thank the staff. You know, I boast that I have the best staff anywhere in the world, Mr. Steiner, so you really got to come good. I also want to thank the UNDP staff, Limia, Simon, Almudena, for all the work that they would have done to be able to make this happen. Without you, I do not know that we definitely would not have been able to make this happen. And everyone else who contributed to this, we want to thank you for making this happen. I want to thank the members of the press for staying with us over the last few days. Everyone, I want to thank Brazil. I know that the next conference is going to be amazing. We look forward to being able to go to Brazil, and as we get closer to the World Summit, to be able then to bring one united voice on these very important issues as we go forward. And I know I stand between you and lunch, so I am as brief as I can be, but thank you very much. Barbados owes you a debt of gratitude. The Prime Minister told me to tell you that she's happy to host you, and we look forward to having you back in Barbados again. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Minister Humphrey, and to all of our distinguished speakers today. To conclude the official program for the 16th Ministerial Forum for Development in Latin America and the Caribbean, we invite you to enjoy a short video, and then, in true Barbadian form, we have a special surprise prepared just for you. Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. Minister Humphrey didn't tell us it was a silent film. While we're waiting, but listen, tech happens. I've worked in broadcasting for a number of years, so I know that tech happens. So while we give the technical team an opportunity to correct, obviously after this, I want to invite you to stay and enjoy the lunch provided and to participate in the side events that are happening this afternoon. For those who are traveling, we wish you a safe journey home. And don't forget that there's still an opportunity to visit the vendors exhibition and purchase souvenirs of Barbados to take home with you. If you want to participate in any of the tours for tomorrow, Saturday, please note that you will be picked up and brought back to the hotel. The schedules are catamaran. The hotel pickup is at 7:30 a.m. and return to the hotel at 3 p.m. I have done it on several occasions. I promise you the catamaran cruise is amazing. And then there is a safari, and the pickup is at 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Also be aware that the side event 5, which was scheduled for 3:30 p.m., that has been canceled. A gentle reminder that when you're leaving, please leave the headsets and the receivers here so that we can collect them. Now, we've skipped the silent film and we're going straight to the surprise. Ladies and gentlemen. Where is the surprise? Where's the surprise? Jesus. I understand that the representative for Brazil wants to say a few words from the floor.
Olha, eu sei que todo mundo.
I know everybody's eagerly awaiting lunch.
Dando el almuerzo.
Is awaiting lunch. Perhaps it didn't work out. Okay.
Que no está funcionando.
Eu sei que todo mundo está ansioso para o almoço.
Anxious to have the.
Mas eu não poderia deixar.
Could not the opportunity to express my happiness in participating in this event here and the approval that we have reached of the Bridgetown Declaration in Barbados, which I know will remain in history as the place in which we showed the centrality of the problems, the challenges faced by Brazilians in our society, and the courage to raise the financial issue. And from this point forward, we are feeling our stomach rumble. And this too is important to understand how valuable it is that we've included the declaration, our commitment of Latin America and the Caribbean in eradicating hunger, while also integrating that objective with eradicating poverty. And thus, I'd like to recognize all the ministers present here and once again invite you. We shall have our summit in 2025, the social summit, and from here to there, the agendas which will allow us to prepare and enact this integration with other regions of the world so that the agenda of the Latin American region may also influence what we'll prioritize in the social summit. I hope to meet you all again as we prepare for these future meetings. I'd like to thank UNPD, ECLAC, other organizations present, the government of Barbados, our host, Chile. Well done for your work, and all the executive table here. I do hope to meet you all in Brazil. We will welcome you with open arms. Thank you. Em tempos de incerteza, a arte e a cultura são ferramentas.
Not only at the individual level, but also within communities. In Latin America and the Caribbean, the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, has driven various initiatives that use art as a vehicle for social inclusion, development, and adaptation to environmental challenges, from climate change to social peace. These initiatives demonstrate how creativity and artistic expression can be integrated with social policies to strengthen societies. Resilience in Peru and Bolivia, COP Initiative.
Como dice, somos millonarios tanto en la plantación, en el mar, en la mina, tenemos todo. Es lo que me gusta, que somos un país, como dice, muy enriquecido. Como dice, ¿no? Estamos tratando de querer. Y por eso mío fue cuando yo escuché Innova, dije no. Bueno, y me da felicidad que ahora ya no somos mercado nacional, sino internacional. Y me da mucho gusto. Por ese motivo yo dije, estoy de pie en este momento acá.
Barbados and Eastern Caribbean, Futures of the Environment Challenge.
The truth is, small islands like us do very little to cause climate change.
In the Eastern Caribbean is also built through climate action, with the Futures of the Eastern Caribbean Environment Challenge project.
We are tiny with very little resources, but have to deal with big impact. Flooding,
food and water scarcity,
loss of life and property.
Young people use art to raise awareness about the need to care for the environment, exploring how art can inspire innovative solutions to the impacts of climate change. Creativity becomes a bridge between communities and climate policies.
We have to adapt. That means we have to do things to put our house in order, to be better prepared, so that the impacts can be reduced and we can increase our chances of bouncing back as we continue to live at a time when the climate is changing.
Colombia, art and peace building. In Colombia, after years of conflict, art becomes a key tool for peace building. Initiatives such as Seeds of Peace allow communities to express their pain, their hopes, and their vision for a better future through art. This inclusive approach not only contributes to individual healing, but also promotes social cohesion, fostering dialogue and mutual understanding between communities affected by the conflict. Art and culture are more than aesthetic expressions. They are vital tools for social inclusion, sustainable development, and resilience in Latin America and the Caribbean.
Music can be used as a tremendous tool to sensitize the whole world as to who you really are. It can make you laugh, it can make you cry, it can make you sad, it can make you happy, and it can also carry political views, it carries social views. It is most crucial that we use music as a tool to sensitize the world as to our resilience, as the way we fight to see us become a better people.
In every musical note, in every brushstroke, these communities are building a more resilient future, adapting to current challenges and strengthening their capacity to thrive in the face of uncertainty.
And I'm here at this conference and I'm able to talk about resilience through the arts and what that means. When I think about that, I think about us as a region, the Latin American and Caribbean region. I think about the Caribbean. I know that we are living in the aftermath of the transatlantic slave trade. We live in the aftermath of colonialism. We live in the aftermath of a pandemic, and we're still feeling that right now.
La música es un arma muy importante para la humanidad hoy día. Con la música podemos acercarnos a todas las razas y todos los idiomas, y eso es muy importante. Así podemos reunir diferentes etnias y podemos ayudar a los muchachos en su educación, en mejorarlos culturalmente y fuera de todo, pues que haya una armonía y paz en este mundo en que vivimos.
In recent decades, Latin America and the Caribbean achieved great progress in terms of social development, democratic consolidation that are today at risk. Poverty, which once enveloped half of the population of our region, was reduced to the 25%. Child mortality was cut in half, and the number of children out of school was significantly reduced from 1 in 4 to 1 in 10. And as people's lives improved, the country's economies grew, turning ECLAC into a middle-income region with all the caveats already mentioned by Minister Humphrey. During that same period, the region also underwent a process of democratic consolidation, becoming the third most democratic region in the world.
Let us take the time to think outside of the box and to recognize that within our own region, we have unique solutions that have worked to keep our people resilient. Let us take the best of those, but equally not be afraid to modernize the processes and the systems and the attitudes necessary to complete the journey.
Hoy trazamos los caminos en pro de la humanidad. Construimos comunidad en cada pueblo y nación, buscando la solución y el desarrollo inclusivo, todo con un objetivo, la resiliencia en acción. La resiliencia en acción. Aquí estamos hoy reunidos en foro ministerial, compartiendo lo crucial, lo vivido y lo aprendido. Cada país incluido habla de la educación, la digitalización, estrategias, buenas prácticas, demostrando con sus tácticas la resiliencia en acción. Avanzar hacia un futuro que sea más equitativo es el principal motivo para derribar los muros. Atender los temas duros, atender los temas duros, cero hambre y la misión de acabar en la polución. La pobreza erradicar y con orgullo mostrar la resiliencia en acción. desafíos importantes son los que te han tratado y para ver resultados hay que actuar cuanto antes. Señores representantes, al cerrar esta canción, pedimos cooperación, esta lucha persistir y junto al pueblo vivir la resiliencia en acción y junto al pueblo vivir la resiliencia en acción.
Muchas gracias. Somos un ensamble de músicos latinoamericanos. La voz de la maravillosa Fabiola Méndez, en el teclado Lloyd Gallimore, en la mejorana el señor José Augusto Grosse y yo Billy Gerrón en la armónica. La décima nace en España, viaja a América.
The decima was created in Spain and arrived to Latin America, and we use it as a vehicle to transmit what we feel and to show you what we can do through our music. Thank you for.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you, and I now officially declare the 16th session closed.
Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to join us for lunch that has been put on. And if you're traveling home, please travel safely. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.